In this video, we're going to learn prime factorization. Let's look at the first example. Let's say you want to factorize this number. First, you need to understand what is a prime number. So a prime number is a number that can only be divided by 1 and itself. Here are some examples: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and I can go on. These numbers can only be divided by 1 and itself. That makes a prime number. Now, numbers that are not prime numbers are called composite numbers. Now, let's factor this number over here. So we can use the method called tree method. It's the most popular one and the easiest one to use. So 30 is an even number, so we can use 2, and 2 times 15. This dot little here means multiply. 2 times 15 gives you 30. Now we have our first prime number, so we stop here at 2, but 15 is not a prime number, so we need to find two numbers that multiplied gives us 15. 3 and 5 gives us 15, and I will circle 3 because it's a prime number, and I will circle 5 because it's a prime number. You should circle them because it's a good way to keep track of your prime numbers. Now, these prime numbers, if we write them down, 2 times 3 times 5, it should give you the number you were trying to factor. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 5 will give you 30. So it means that our prime numbers are correct. Here's another example. Try 75. Try to factor 75. So let's go ahead and let's find two numbers. I cannot use 2, but I can use 3. 3 times 25 will give you 75. Now 3 is our first prime number, so we stop here, but we can factor 25. 5 times 5 will give you 25, and I stop here because 5 is a prime number. It can only be divided by 1 and itself. So now let's write it down over here. 3 times 5 times 5. Now 3 times 5 will give me 15, and 15 times 5, let's solve it over here. 15 times 5, 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. That's correct. So it means that these prime numbers 3, 5, and 5 are correct, and it proves that 75 was factored correctly. Here's another example. Try 56. 56 is a prime number, so we can start with 2. 2 times 28. If I multiply 2 times 28, it gives us 56. So I circle 2 because I stop here. 2 is a prime number. Now 28 is even, so I could continue factoring this number. 2 times 14. 2 times 14 will give it 28, and I stop at 2. It's a prime number, but I can factor 14. 2 and 7, if multiplied, gives me 14. So I stop here. As we learned in the beginning of this tutorial, 7 is a prime number, so 2 times 7 gives us 14, and we stop here. Now I can write this as you see, I have 1, 2, 3 2's. So I can write this as 2 to the third power times 7, instead of writing 2 times 2 times 2. The same over here. I could have written 5 to the second power. Now that is 8. Now we multiply 8 times 7. That is 56. Also, here's a tip. You should know your times table. In order to do prime factorization, you should be really familiar with your multiplication. Why do we do prime factorization? We do this because every number can be expressed as a product of a prime. Prime factorization also helps in simplifying fractions whenever we need to find the greatest common factor or the least common factor. Try factoring 45. So we can start with 3 times 15. I circled 3 to remind me that it's a prime number. It can only be divided by 1 and itself. Now 3 times 5 will give me 15. I stop here because 3 is a prime number and 5 is also a prime number. Now I have two 3's, so I can write it as 3 to the second power times 15. Now 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 5 will give me 45. So it means that we factored this number perfectly. Now you can also pause the video and try this one. 72. 72 is an even number, so I can do 32 times 36. I circled 2 because it's a prime number. And now let me factor 36. 36 is also an even number, so I can factor 2 times 18. 2 times 18 should give me 36. I circle 2 to remind me that 2 is a prime number. Now I can factor 18. 2 times 9 gives me 18. I circle 2, and now I can factor 3 times 3, and I circle 3, and I circle this other 3 as well. Now I can rewrite this as 2 to the third power times 3 to the second power. Now 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 3 times 2, 3 times 3 is 9. And if you're familiar with your multiplication, 8 times 9 will be 72. Your biggest problem solving prime factorization would be not knowing your times table. So try to get familiar with your times table. It will make everything easier, and you'll solve these problems easier. Now let's factor this one. 2 times 126 will give you back 252. 2 is a prime number. Now let me factor 126. 2 times 63 will give me back 126. Let me circle. 3 times 21, circle 3. Let's factor 21. That will be 3 times 7. These two numbers are prime numbers. Now I can rewrite this as 2 to the second power times 3 to the second power times 7. This here basically is my final answer, but as always, I really recommend you to times these numbers so you can check your answer is correct. So 2 times 2 will be 4. 3 to the second power is 9, and let's multiply 4 times 9. 4 times 9 will be 36. 36 times 7. Let's multiply 36 times 7. It's a big number, so we can write them vertically. 6 times 7 is 42, and 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25. So it means that we factored this number perfectly. And that's how we factor prime factorization. Thank you for watching.